All right, we're live.
All right.
All right, Screen for Me Long Beach.
What's up?
We got
I was actually going to say the Screen for Me Long Beach too.
Right, because that's our topic. We're actually doing a topic tonight. The topic is metal screams.
Screams.
Yeah, can't all be highbrow, can't all be deep. And tonight it's a little bit of a bonehead topic, but I love it. I love it. So I'll introduce myself really quickly. My name is Jack Mangan. You know me from Metal Hall of Fame. There's lots of cool, exciting news at the Metal Hall of Fame. By the way, go there and check out. Rich and me have some new articles up. I have one about Quiet Riot. Rich has one about new music. So absolutely go and check that out. You also know me from MetalAsylum.net. And My Evil graphic novel, which is in the dredges of production. We hit delay after delay, but I promise you someday before we're all old and gray, it'll get here. Hopefully sooner than that. All right, that's enough about me. To my left, in the white snake shirt.
Yes, Rich Catino from Metal Asylum, and I write for Bravwords, and I contribute to the Metal Hall also, and I contribute to Sea of Tranquility from time to time too. And to my right, we're joined by a friend of Jack, Rhett.
Yep.
A fellow metal fan.
Yeah, long-term metalhead, long-term friend of Jack's actually since I moved to Arizona, and really appreciate the scene.
Yeah, no, he's a good person for this topic. So, you know, cool. I'm going to share this thing around a little bit and drum up some interest and get some more, hopefully some more usual viewers will chime in. But we want to hear from you guys, too. Talk to us about your favorite metal screams. For me, there's one that's like the one that I always think of. But I'm not going to say it. I'm going to see if you guys may name it. But go ahead. I'm going to shut up for a second.
I was going to say, do you consider a scream just a scream, or could it be a word that turns into a scream? It's part word, part scream. It's kind of sometimes it's like one and the same. I would say, like I picked a couple things that it's a word, but it's actually a scream as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about too when I was considering the questions. Like, is it the metal scream just the or is it
right
spoken? I think the technical term is a fry vocal, where there's the spoken word, but it's done in that kind of screamy register.
Yeah,
and I could think of probably an example for both of those, but maybe just a handful. I only have only a handful of things came to mind, and then everything else was like spoken word is what I was thinking of.
Well, like for example, I'm just throwing this out as an example. This isn't the first on my list, so it's on my list. It's in the song "The Last in Line." You know, when it transitions from the soft part to the heavy part. Does that count? When he hits the word "home" and just blows out your speakers? Like I would say that counts.
I would say it counts.
Or David Coverdale when he sings "In the Still of the Night," that one part of night that he holds.
Oh yeah,
that's a scream too. Even though it's a word, it still becomes a scream.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So, like I said, it's kind of one and the same, but you can separate them. It could be just an individual scream, like I gotta look at my stuff here. Like Iron Maiden, "Number the Beast," I think, right?
Yeah.
That would be Bruce Dickinson does that scream.
That was actually my number one choice.
That's on my list. That's on my list too.
Yeah.
But that's not for me. That's not the one that I think defines all metal screams. But I want to, like I said, I'll lead up to it. I'm teasing.
That's one of them. I would say that's one of them, right?
Yeah. So you guys rattle some off. I'm gonna shut up and share. So talk amongst yourselves for a second.
All right, Rhett, you want to throw one out there, or you want me to throw one out there?
Well, going kind of back to the point we were talking about spoken word. Really, Devin Townsend, the Deadhead, like the last 2 minutes, especially the live version of Deadhead, has like some really awesome kind of screaming vocals, but it kind of leads up to it. I don't think it's just a singular one because he kind of ends the song with the scream, but it's not as meaningful without the lead up to it, where he's singing kind of multiple words. So that was one that I thought about today. I don't know how many people are familiar with that or not, but
yeah, great song. And Devin has a couple of great ones. Somebody's dog.
Yeah, all right. Sorry.
There's a good metal scream right there.
That's my little poodle in the background.
All right, Rich, fire away. What do you got?
Halloween.
Ooh.
All right, so Jack, we're both fans of Keeper Part 1 and Part 2, but Keeper Part 1, do you have the special edition, the remastered edition that has the 3 bonus tracks with Victim of Fate with Kiski singing on it, the re-recorded version?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The scream that he does in that is excellent. It's a long one too.
Yeah.
You're gonna burn in hell, like the
I
hell.
think it's that, right?
Yeah.
It's the pre-solo or after the solo, I think, right? Or no, it's the break. It's the break in the middle.
Yeah, when
right?
it slows down, it's quiet. Yeah.
Yes, that's where it is. Yep. That's really good. That's one of his biggest screams, I would say, and one of the longer ones too that he's, holds it,
Right.
Right. See, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I Want Out is a beautiful. That's a great sustained note, but that's not a scream. That's
Right.
Right.
Right. But the one in Victim of Fate's definitely a scream.
Yeah. Yeah, good one too. Kiski. Yeah, I mean, Kiski's not really a screamer. I didn't have that one listed, but I don't disagree at all. I think that's a great.
Even though he sings a lot in a higher register, like a Jeff Tate type of a thing. Very, kind of similar.
Right. Yeah, actually, I had some of Kai on the first album was on my list. His Ride the Sky screams. I think he veers off into some screams there. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. He even actually, Kai Hansen actually does a scream in Gamma Ray too, one of their earlier songs.
Right.
Last Before the Storm, I wanted to say. He does a scream as well. Very Halfordish sounding.
Yeah. I mean, Halford is one of the iconic screamers.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But all right. Well, yeah, these are good ones so far. Like I said, I'm going to hold off a little bit. Yeah, if you guys out there got one, by all means. Well, we have some viewers out there. That's not true.
What did you have, Jack? What do you?
Oh, all right. Well, I'll hit to me, the most iconic scream ever in all of metal history, I think has got to be is Angel of Death. The opening scream to Angel of Death. That to me, that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like it. I mean, and actually I remember, you probably would miss out on this, Rhett, but back in New Jersey, we had commercials on TV for L'Amour's in Brooklyn. L'Amour's, the legendary metal club, and they would use that opening scream. And it was just, I was like a little kid going, "What in the world? What is happening?" That scream is like the end of the world, and it's so high pitched and shrieky, and then he ends off with the powerful rah. So Angel of Death to me, and like I said, that to me is, if I was, we're not doing a list. This isn't like a listicle type of thing.
Yeah,
but
just picking.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff.
We're just throwing out some memorable ones and some ones that are important. And that one to me, I think that one's huge. And also, like, I'd never, like, to me, metal is kind of not about, like, at that time, I don't think I had heard King Diamond yet, so I'd never heard anybody go that high pitched, and almost a feminine scream, at least the first part of it, and it was it really was kind of mind blowing. So yeah, Angel of Death.
It was mostly part of a word that's in a song, like we were saying. So it's not just an individual scream on its own. It's a scream that's connected to a word, but the Angel of Death was just a, hellish sounding scream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is exactly what he was going for. But it's a good one. So that for me, like I said, that there is one other one which I think we've already alluded to. So I'll just say, I'll cut right to the chase. Is, as we said, the Number of the Beast.
Number of the Beast.
Where Bruce Dickinson got the name or the nickname of the air raid siren. I mean that scream is also so great and so important. I mean, it kind of gives you chills when it transitions from the opening part to the faster first part. It's just so great. I mean, and it's so, for me had I been a Maiden fan then, I was too young, but had I been a Maiden fan, I think that to me would have cemented it. Like, oh yeah, this the new singer, I'm in. Like the new singer is great. Right. So those are number 1 and number 2 on my list. Again, not that we're doing lists, but yeah.
I think that's the most iconic one, and ironically, when I didn't really come into Maiden until Peace of Mind, and so I kind of started there and worked forward, and it wasn't until later that I actually went back in the catalog and heard it, and then of course saw them live and do it, and it's just insane to hear it live.
Does Bruce do any screams on Peace of Mind? I don't remember.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure there's probably one, not quite that grandiose, but there's got to be something on there.
Yeah, he has in To Tame a Land. He has the power to make it all end. That's almost a scream, but not quite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, his other big scream for me on my list is Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. That's a huge scream. Then down it comes, falls the rain. I'm not going to do the scream. Sorry to disappoint you all. Patty Adams.
And he also does the scream at the beginning of Be Quick or Be Dead.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Fear of the Dark.
Right. Yeah.
There's a scream on that one too. In the beginning of the album, first track.
Yeah, 200 points to Rich. I forgot about that one. That was a great scream. He's still got lots of power, Dickinson, but yeah.
He's got a couple of iconic ones over the years.
Yeah, for sure. I think those are his big ones. And of course, Deano, since we're there, the Screams and Killers. I mean, that's about as good as it gets. In the opening part. And
Remember Tomorrow, right?
Yes, yeah. Right. He does the soft one and then the scream and then nothing.
Remember Tomorrow. Yep.
You saying Tom Hazard has one of the best screams? Tom Hazard has a great voice. He truly does. He's known as being the guy behind the scenes, but yeah, I mean he's got a killer singing voice and he's got a lot of power. Or if maybe you're just tagging him, I don't know. But yeah, he's got some great vocal firepower. Speaking of vocal firepower, go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
I thought the one that you were going to mention that was one of the big ones was. You want me to mention it or save it?
Go for it. No time like the present.
I thought you were going to mention Jeff Tate and Queensryche and Queen of the Reich.
That's on my list. That's on my list for sure.
Okay, that was another one.
Yeah,
that was another one. I thought you were going to mention that, but you mentioned Angel of Death, so that's obviously another one. So yeah.
Yeah, his other great one is in shit. It was just in my head. Oh yeah, is in Gonna Get Close to You. He has some great, just out of nowhere. That song is just his vocal performance is just insane, like literally and figuratively. It's crazy. So yeah, but yeah, I mean Jeff Tate, great screamer. So all right, well, Rhett, Rhett, what else you got?
Yeah, go ahead, Rhett.
Oh geez, let's see. Well, again, getting back to can a scream be like one singular thing, or is it like a style? I mean, just off the top of my head, one of the songs that came to mind, I don't know if it fits or not, is Battle Angels. When Worrell goes and sings, it's like this high register singing that's just
like falsetto
goes beyond. It's a falsetto that just kind of just goes over the top at this high end. It just like goes up and then back down and then up and it's not normal singing.
Like when he sings the chorus, right? When he sings the
chorus, it just soars. I don't know if that counts as a scream. In my mind, that's what kind of just popped in there when I was thinking about what's memorable to me. That's kind of like a scream. I don't know if that necessarily counts like a Number of the Beast, obviously, but it's definitely there. I mean, it's something I think about as being emotionally impactful.
I think you're thinking. I would associate it more like a higher into the falsetto instead of a scream, I guess, because along the same lines as like King Diamond.
Right.
When he goes from his mid range to either lower or he goes really high and then he goes into the falsetto. So I kind of compare the Worrell thing to like King or Merciful.
No, I think that's absolutely right. I mean,
Merciful Fate. But it is a kind of a fine line though, because then you can do that, like we were saying, as a note or a word, for like I said, the Whitesnake, Still the Night, when he says in Still the Night, the word night, that turns into a scream. Yeah.
Right.
That counts for sure.
That could definitely transition into a scream as we're talking about it.
Right.
So you guys set me up perfectly. I got to go there with one we've talked about a lot on this show. People are going to start to think I'm fixated on it, but Black Wind, Fire, and then he sings Steel. He screams Steel. Like we said, it's amazing. One time Rich and I timed it. It's like a 2.5 minute. He sustains his note for like an inhuman amount of time. Like the guy must be all lungs. Like Eric Adams is just I mean, he's got a bunch of great screams. Blow Your Speakers. I mean, and Crown in the Ring. Crown in the Ring. That scream just blows.
It's a word, but it's a word it's a scream.
Right. But yeah, the Black Wind, Fire, and Steel. I mean, that to me, if I were making a list, that would be in my top 5 ever. It's just unbelievable. It's inhuman. So the guy,
that's a good one.
Yeah, remember we had on Beatallica, and they were kind of like just like in awe. Like, you know, they poke fun at Manowar, but they were also like, oh my god, dude, what an incredibly talented band. So yeah, Black Wind, Fire, and Steel. That to me. There's one other one that I feel like I'll be completely remiss to leave out, but I'm gonna wait. There's one other vocalist, and Rich already knows who I'm thinking about. But go ahead, Rich. I think you should.
I'm not sure because I thought it was the Queensryche that I picked. But you went with the Slayer first. So all right. Yeah. So another good scream. I'm gonna go with You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, Twisted Sister. Dee Snider belts went out in that.
That's on my list.
when he sings Can't Stop Rock and Roll, the roll word is what he gets, and it turns into a scream. That's really good. And he's another one of those underrated, kind of underappreciated, kind of overlooked sometimes singers as a singer, and with power and personality and all that. So he's got it. That's one of my all-time favorites. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Yeah, that's a good song.
So yeah, I'll throw that out there.
Well, and you've again, Rich has heard me geek out about. There's no scream in the song I'm Me, but that is one of the best, most underappreciated vocal performances. Really, it's just an amazing talent, amazing, like you said.
Great song.
He brings it all.
Great vocal. Yeah,
and that's a barely known Twisted Sister song, but
that's a good one.
I mean, like I said, no scream there, but since we're praising D, I got to praise.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Rhett. I guess it's your turn. Let's do it that way.
Let's see. See what's not so obvious. Screaming for Vengeance. Rob Halford.
That's actually one of the ones I'm looking up on the computer, some songs and things like that, and that's one of the ones I was checking out. Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah.
Appropriately titled, Screaming.
Exactly.
Well, there's some great screams in that song. Yeah. I have some other Priest songs on my list, but go ahead, Rhett. Tell us. Go into it.
Well, I mean, when we were talking about is it a word or is it scream, I think that's not the screamy category because he says what he does and then he does it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like he hits that note though. I mean, he's like that. And he says scream and scream. And
yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Although I don't know if there's if we're in the Rob Halford side of things, there's a scream in Painkiller that's pretty amazing. But I think that there's probably a lot of priests that you can find something pretty evocative for that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it's Painkiller and Scream for Vengeance are on my list. But actually, let's take a detour for a second. I want to throw out a question to the panel because there are singers like I'm going to rattle off a bunch of names. Hold on, bear with me. Halford is one of them, of course. Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson doesn't have, in my mind, one iconic scream, but Joe Elliott. These are guys who have that's basically they sing in a scream voice. Tom Kiefer, Axl Rose. These are guys who like that's what they do. Like they don't, like I said, they don't have. I can't say Brian Johnson. He has that one scream. But that's who he is. I mean, I think they get honorary mentions tonight. Guys like that, like Joe Elliott, Brian Johnson, Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory. These are guys who. Their voice is kind of a very screamy kind of voice. So, I'm going to throw it out to what do you guys think about that? Again, Halford is another guy whose voice is kind of like, or my parents would definitely have said, this guy's just screaming. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that, guys? Whose main voice is a scream?
Oh, the main voice, who, like you said, the grittier voice you're talking about.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like low and gritty, but like that's who they are. That's their vocal style is scream. Like Brian Johnson,
out like it's scream, almost like Udo Dirkschneider.
Udo, yes,
he's another one too. I think that comes across like that.
Right. Yeah,
and he's got an iconic scream in oh my god, Best as Shark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even the chorus to Balls to the Wall's got that's pretty. I mean, he's singing words or he's screaming words, but that's pretty.
But there's a scream in Fastest Shark.
Yeah. No, you're right.
There
He's one of the greats. Absolutely. His latest album, he's still killing.
No, that's right. At the beginning of Fast as the Shark,
Yeah.
After they do the like the old music,
Right.
And then he does the record scratch, and then he's like, yeah. I should have been on my list. Yeah, that's pretty iconic.
And when you mentioned Halford, I want to say there's definitely a couple from the 70s albums that we're not thinking about, that we're not remember, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about 80s and the late 80s and 90s. So I think there's one in, I want to say maybe Sinner, or
Sinner is one I was thinking of. Yeah, the way he screams the chorus, kind of. Yeah.
I kind of didn't think about the 70s, and I didn't for him, you know.
Yeah.
There's got to be. I know there's definitely a scream on Stained Class. I just can't think of the song. Stained Class or Invader or Saints in Hell, or it's one of those. I just can't. Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there with Saints in Hell because it had such a weird vocal. But
I just have to go back to that album. I know that album's definitely got a good scream in there.
Beyond the Realms of Death has a pretty powerful scream. Mm-hmm. You know, when he says, "And then he died," that's pretty powerful. All right, so when you guys out there watching, if you got a metal scream, shout it out. No pun intended.
Okay.
So yeah, well, I'm going to throw out a name actually. There's a couple of songs, of course, but
another song. I mean.
Oh yeah, another song. It would be, well, basically every song that Bobby Blitz performs on has got a great scream. The guy, that's who he is. But you know, his most iconic and famous one's got to be "Rotten to the Core." That opening laugh scream is just amazing. Of course, Overkill 2. He starts off. That's another one. That's one of my favorites of his. Like I said, he screams in every song, so it's hard to.
Yeah. Two on this album. I thought about. Can you pick the two songs?
Hang on, I'm not looking.
On Years of Decay.
Well, the title track, "Evil Never Dies," also has got a great.
Evil Never Dies, when he sings "Dies," the last die.
Yeah.
And then what's the other song I'm thinking of?
Well, "Elimination."
Didn't think of "Elimination," but the opening track, "Time to Kill." He screams on that too.
He does. Yeah. I mean, you know, Bobby Blitz. That's the only other one I was going to call out was "What I'm Missing," because it's a different kind of scream. Like he does, he screams the word "gone," and he kind of goes into. I don't know. He sounds like it's like a kid screaming on the playground. I mean, that's not a diss. It brings all kinds.
He just finds the perfect place to place a scream. It's great on certain words and certain parts of the songs. It's such a great accent.
I mean, we all know, like my love of Bobby Blitz as a singer, and Overkill is off the charts. But you know, I got to give him tons of credit. So that I have more, but those are the main ones for my list. So I guess Red, what else you got? Tell us your screams.
Well, on my list was the scream in Demon of the Fall. There's the transition that happens. So that's kind of, but it's like a demonic kind of really low register, which I mean kind of fits the theme of the song.
Yeah, Michael Ackerfeld isn't much of a screamer. I was thinking about him too, but
not lately. But you know, back in the day. But
right,
that's fairly memorable.
Yeah, he's singing I guess it's not really the chorus. He's singing the song title. You know, I think that's the scream I'm thinking of from that song. But yeah, I mean, he's a big, his growls were, you know, he's growling and a great melodic voice, but not many kind of.
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Just that song in particular has a really, really neat, mean scream.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. You know, again, he's just one of the greatest vocalists and songwriters.
Great, just everything. Singer, guitar player, music writer.
Right. Joke teller.
Joke teller, meme creator.
Yes, Mike Lackerfeld. If you're watching, we want to have you on someday. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Like I said, this is a topic I could roll with forever. There's so many. But go ahead, Rich. I think we. I just looked at my list. I've got a couple I can't leave out. But go ahead, Rich.
Okay. Sabotage, Hold the Mountain King.
That was on my list.
Yes.
He's got a couple great screams in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the greatest vocal performances, really, of all time. I mean, that's
yeah, one of the greatest metal albums of all time, too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, I was going to go with another great screamer is Ian Gillan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In Disturbing the Priest, in Child in Time from
Child in Time. I forgot about that. Yep.
In Trashed, I mean, the way he used to scream in Trashed, again, that was another thing that young me was going, what is happening?
Good pick.
Something wrong with my radio, but yeah, Ian Gillan, I mean, one of the great set of lungs
Yeah.
on that guy. But I'll throw out one more. I'm going to cheat and go twice because, like I said, my list is really long. I want to get through this. This is another guy from a more modern era, a guy who had a great lungs. This is Chris Cornell. I mean, especially in the Soundgarden days. You know, on Say Hello to Heaven on the Temple of the Dog album. And he just, again, I don't know how he did it. It's one of those things where I don't know how he had that kind of lung power. Chris Cornell is just, and he could sing. I mean, great songwriter and great singer when he toned it down as well. But man, when he belted it, like Loud Love, Jesus Christ Pose. I mean, Jesus Christ. But all right. So, yeah, we got
who's next?
Well, Christopher A. James brings up Todd La Torre. Of course, you know, we praised Queensryche earlier, but yeah, I mean, Todd La Torre gets no short shrift. The guy's truly unbelievable.
Great screams too.
Do you have a favorite, Christopher? Let us know if you have a favorite from one of his albums, whether his own or the Queensryche albums. But yeah, I mean, or if you guys do. But go ahead, Rhett. I think you had one queued up, right? Or Rhett, whoever wants to go next. I don't care. It's free for all.
It's up to you guys.
I don't know. Did we talked earlier about Devin Thompson? Was that online or not? I don't remember.
Yeah, we were live. You brought up Deadhead.
Okay, so we talked about that one.
But we didn't talk about. I mean, Devin does a lot. Like Strapping Young Lad. I mean, the song "Love," that scream that ends the song.
Yeah, pretty much any of the two Strapping Young Lads albums. I think there's plenty of iconic screams, but specifically in Love, I think there's some pretty insane ones.
Yeah, yeah. Again, one of the best.
Yeah, very good.
All right, Rich. I guess you're up.
All right, I'm gonna pick two from Stryper, Michael Sweet. So, To Hell with the Devil, the song when he sings "Devil." Wow, what a scream that is, right? Incredible. And then if you know the following album, do you know the following album, In God We Trust?
Actually, that's when I strayed. No pun and no religious puns intended.
It's a little more melodic, that album. That was the album that's got Always There For You on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they have a song in there called The Writings on the Wall, which was the heavy song on the album. It's great. And he does a great scream in that song too. So I have to pick those two.
I had Take It to the Cross on my list because he screams the chorus that, you know.
Yes.
Very helpful.
A new Stryper is great. The last 4 albums have been great. The new music is as great as their old stuff. So
yeah, that album, as the kids say, that album slaps.
It's do you know the album? Let me think now. I gotta go back now. What is it called? Fallen. That's 2 albums ago. That was really good. Even the new one, Even the Devil Believes.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard those?
Yeah.
Very strong. The album you're talking about, Jack, where that song is from, is Goddamn Evil.
Yes. I think it does a good one in the title track there too. But
that's the album in between the two I'm talking about. Yep.
Okay.
Good pick. That song.
Yeah, if I'm just maybe I'll throw out a couple because I know we've been going a little while, so I'll rattle off a couple. I'll do a quick lightning round. I got to say, we actually just talked to Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot, so got a shout out to Kevin DeBro.
Mm-hmm.
His screams their 2 biggest songs are "Bang Your Head" and "Come On Feel the Noise," and his screams on those are just, it's almost like he's in the room with you every time you push play on your tape. So yeah, those are great ones. I have to throw out another friend of the show, another awesome guy who we've talked to a bunch of times is Neil Turbin. those screams on Death Rider and Metal Thrashing Mad.
Metal Thrashing Mad.
Yeah, he great screaming voice. And also, he did I mean, if you haven't seen it, go out, check out our YouTube channel. He performed. Guy can sing. Guy's got an incredible singer. Got a great voice. Even all these years later.
Versatile. Definitely
very versatile. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, very. But he was a great screamer in the early days. I'll throw out one more, and then I'll shut up. I still have more, so I'm not done. But I'm almost done. I'm almost done. But the next one on my list, got to throw out "Running with the Devil." David Lee Roth, man.
Yes, Dave.
Yep.
Didn't always scream, but when he did,
Yeah.
Yep.
especially "Running with the Devil."
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Good pick.
All right, so like I said, I'm shutting up.
All right. So I'm going to go with a newer band from the 90s, 2000s. Primal Fear.
Oh yeah.
Ralph Sheepers.
Yep.
Another great singer.
Very good.
I mean, if Tim Ripper Owens wasn't singing for Priest and got that, he should have gotten that. Right?
No, I agree.
Angel in Black, that from that album? This album? Nuclear Fire. So he does a great scream in this song in the beginning.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've listened to that album, but I do remember some.
I think this is still my favorite. I think this is still my favorite from them.
Okay.
Nuclear Fire. But yeah, Ralph does screams from time to time on their albums too. But Angel in Black is one of my favorites that he does.
Okay.
That's from their third album.
All right, Rhett. I guess.
Rhett, you got it?
I think I've tapped all my just. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got me on a short time here to remember everything. I have to believe that there's some metal church song that has an awesome scream in it, but
yes. Yes, from the first album. Right?
Beyond the Black.
Yeah.
Beyond the Black has.
On the Black.
Great
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
David Wayne was another guy who's he was a great screamy voice singer.
Yeah.
And of course, Mike Howe is a great singer a different way. But yeah, David Wayne,
Right.
like that was his voice was this kind of a scream.
That was a great choice. I forgot about that one. Yep.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. All right. Well, I'm going to call out another one who we had on our show. Probably set in a viewership record, a comments record, was Steve Whiteman of Kix in Cold Shower. I mean, that scream.
Yeah.
Remember he actually said when we talked to him, he said he didn't know if he could still do it.
That's
everyone,
right.
all the commenters were like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that is a brutal scream."
Good choice. Forgot about that.
yeah, good one.
And then another guy who I know Rich is a big fan, and I have much respect for the guy as a vocalist for sure, and I have respect. No shade thrown. Sebastian Bach in "Slave to the Grind" is a great, and that's one where the word kind of draws out.
Yeah,
He sings it, and then it crescendos up to a scream. Sebastian Bach, guys always had great pipes. Great. And then, Christopher James says, I have to say I like both the self-titled album Queensryche and Conditioned Human. So,
Yeah.
Very good.
And I want to say one of the newer bands from the 90s into the 2000s, Stratovarius. I know Timo Cotapelto has a couple screams here and there. I can't think off the top of my head what song I'm thinking of, but I'll mention him. You guys know that band?
Oh yeah, I love
it's been a long time since I've listened to Stratovarius, but it's
I know
melodic.
From the Tolkien era when he actually sings, now that I'm looking at the discography, do you know the album Dream Space, guys? It's the third one.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I probably do. If you played it, I'd be like, oh yeah, but
this is the last album before Timo Cotapelto took over as vocalist. But Timo Tolkien sang on those records. So he does a great scream on the song called Dream Space.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got to think of what Cotapelto song I'm kind of thinking of that he does a scream as well. But right now, when I'm looking at the discography, Dream Space comes to mind immediately because that's a crazy scream he does in that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but when I think of Stratovarius, I don't really think about screams. I think
they really don't. Yeah, because he's got Timo Cotapelto has a very smooth voice, so he doesn't do it that often, but he's done it a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, going back a little further, I was going to throw out Raven, of course. they're just peppered, especially their heyday, where the stuff was just peppered with just great screams. But let me see, have I hit the end of my list? Well, I think I mentioned. Oh well, of course, got to throw out. All right, so a couple more names. I'm going to rattle off 3 names really quickly. Not necessarily songs, but guys who can really do it. Is Mark Slaughter, of course. He gets some great ones and his solo stuff, and of course with Vinnie Vincent. Steelheart, of course. That scream in
I'll Never Let You Go. The ballad I'll Never Let You Go.
Yeah, that scream. I mean, that counts as a scream in my mind. I mean, that's
good choice.
And then of course Zach De La Rocha. He peppers Rage Against the Machine with tons of great screams that those are just all out screams. That's good stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, I think that's my list. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all my picks. I think.
All right, let's leave off. Let's actually make it deep then. Why don't you guys give some words of wisdom as what it means? What does it do to a song and to have that scream come through?
Well, a great scream is a great scream. What are you going to do? It's a great scream. If it works, it works. If it's not overdone, it works great. It's all about when it's played, where it's placed. What part of the song, how long it lasts, how often you do the scream. And I think it actually works sometimes better when it's actually done as a word. I really enjoy when somebody screams a word. That really, accentuates that word. So I really enjoy it.
I think there has to be like an emotional connection to the context of what's going on, because usually they're in the typical thing in metal is there's some kind of angst situation that's going on, and then they talk about whatever struggle they've endured, and then the scream is like, what would you call it, like an emotional.
Yeah, it emphasizes that part of the song, that emotion, whatever it is.
Right. It's like your chi or something. Your emotional chi is this is the sound that it makes. Like a Dune. Like the killing word.
There you go. That's the second Dune reference in this live show.
Jack, what about you?
I agree with what you guys said. I think it brings some power to it, and it can be done to comedic effect. I mean, there's a hilarious, like Bjork is not metal at all, but she has that song that it's so quiet where it's like almost like a Frank Sinatra kind of big band kind of song, and she just lets out this shriek in the middle, and you go, what is happening? But I mean, that's Bjork. But I think it's memorable though. It nails the song. You kind of go like, okay, this is a trip. But I think it has more power though. Like I said, like I'll go back to Angel of Death or Number of the Beast. I mean, those are some of the great ones. Or Rotten to the Core, where it just that's there's so many things about those songs that are great songs. Like if you took the scream out, it's still a great song, but it just it really drives it home. It adds a lot of emotion to it. And one thing we didn't touch on when we were talking about this is guitars scream. Guitars a lot. There's like the piercing, shrieking guitar shrieks, which are great. I mean, this is not me cutting that trick down, but vocal scream just brings a human power to it. Brings a lot of connection to it. Oh, we have one more comment. So Todd Latore also replaced this. Christopher James says Todd Latore also replaced one of my all-time favorite singers, Midnight from Crimson Glory, who's passed away and is one of the greatest screamers in my opinion.
That's true. Crimson Glory, yep. Yeah,
Crimson Glory. Yeah, that's a good call out for sure.
Yep, thanks.
But yeah. All right, well,
all right.
I think we'll call it a topic. I think it's been a fun one.
Good one.
Thanks,
you guys can keep the conversation going in the comments if you want. But yeah, thanks Rhett, thanks Rich. It's been fun.
Thanks for having me.
I think we're unless something comes up, unless we get something comes through next week. I think we're taking the week off next week, but we'll be back again. So thank you guys. I'll shut up. Thank you.
Cool.
Have a good night.
Thanks everyone.
All right.
All right, ending the broadcast.